what's up, everybody? Looking forward to a brief discussion. I'm going to give you two articles to review. TWD will not work in the comments on Facebook at this time. I apologize for that. We will get these links and stuff when we publish and go live on the 29th of October. So the 29th at 6 p.m. we have a live in-person talk. I'm going to be discussing cancer prevention, and the reality of what we need to do to change the path that we've been on for so many years. Since Nixon declared a war on cancer, everything's gotten worse. More people are dying of cancer than ever before, and if you want to argue that the rates have gone down, that is only because of more detection of cancers that would never have harmed somebody. The person would have survived in the first place. So they're using somebody who would have been healed on their own or healed by God, however you want to say it. Roughly 1/4 of breast tumors, if evaluated, they took women, they looked at them. In another study, they looked at women who had breast tumors and just watched what happens. Roughly 1/4 of them actually went into spontaneous remission on their own with no treatments whatsoever. I got kids in the background. I apologize for that if you guys can hear all that. But you know what? They're my little kiddos. Amos, Magnolia, and Ren are here today, waiting on Dad to get off. So, and play a little bit. We're going to go out to the woods, maybe find some medicinal mushrooms, boost our immune system, everything that's extremely important. No, I don't want to report my own video. Why did it do that? If you shake the phone or something like that, it asks you if you want to report a video. It's like, why are you shaking your phone because you're mad? Yeah. Carla, appreciate you. Yvonne, Amy, Krista Lee, appreciate you all being on. Tag a friend, a family member who needs to hear this. The reality is it is never too late to defeat cancer, and cancers can be defeated by even people who are sent home by medical physicians and told they're going to die. The reality is, I say that no person should ever tell you that you have a terminal disease, that you are going to die. If doctors don't have a weapon or tool to be able to help you in the fight against cancer or any disease process whatsoever, all they need to say, all they should say, is we have nothing that we can do for you here. Go and find somebody who believes they can help you. Go and find somebody or do something that other people have done that we can't do for you that is shown and proven to be able to beat this type of cancer. Give you an example of this in Discover Magazine. The Discover article is right here on the screen behind me. We'll put that up on the screen for you as well. The body can beat terminal cancer sometimes because not everybody seeks out the underlying causes or does things to remove the interference that is allowing cancer to grow in the first place. And this is a reality. Y'all need to understand, if everybody in the world could understand this one fact, if doctors are saying it's terminal, by their definition, you're going to die. But the body can beat the most aggressive and deadly types of cancers. The body has the capability to do that. If one person has done it in the past, everyone else has the potential to do the same. They just need to follow the path that is right for them for the restoration of healing, the restoration of their immune system, the downregulation of bad hormones, stress hormones, and other factors. They need complete wholeness and healing. So here we go. This gentleman, John Matsky, was 30 years old when he was told that he had 18 months to live. It was just 7 weeks after his birth of his first son in 1974. John noticed a lump in his armpit. He had a biopsy, showed the lump was a malignant melanoma, a particular fatal form of cancer, skin cancer. He would have the tumor. He would have that tumor, and then a few others removed by surgeons. By 1984, the cancer had spread to his lungs. I want to stop right there briefly and make sure that people are aware of the truth. Everyone needs to be aware of the truth here. I want to read this to you. Again, this comes from a Newsweek article. And again, I'm going through Newsweek articles and things like this. These things are backed by science and stuff like that. You can't believe everything you read. But the reality is, it gives us a different perspective. What's sad is I haven't seen a lot of articles hailing and praising the Lord Jesus Christ for leading people down a path to healing their cancers after doctors sent them home to die. This happens all the time. It happens quite frequently. It happens more frequently than people are aware of. But we're not praising the potential God gave us all to be able to beat cancer. No, the media doesn't want to paint that picture because the reality is, you'll see in this man and several others beat terminal cancer that doctors said they would have to die of. They didn't believe their diagnosis, they didn't agree with it, and they lived. But nobody wants to point out the fact that if the body can beat a terminal cancer, one that doctors say is deadly, then these simple little breast tumors, these other cancers, cervical cancer and other, you don't need to rip your body's parts out. You can heal yourself. Your body has that capability. Seek out the underlying factors that will remove the interference to allow your body to do what's necessary. But he had that surgery, and the cancer continued to spread and went throughout his body. Here's the reality. This comes from Newsweek. This is a surgeon. This surgeon, I love to this surgeon, Kim Edward of University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston. Surgeons remove a malignancy which had not spread to this individual. This man's name was Mayberry, and they told him he was cured. We take it out, we say, you're all set, enjoy the rest of your life, because really, what else can we do until it comes back? That's a direct quote from this MD Anderson. Dr. Kim, the oncologist, Dr. Edward Kim. 2 years later, it did. The cancer cells in Mayberry's lung had metastasized to his brain either after the surgery, since such operations rarely excise every single microscopic cancer cell, or long before, since in some cancers, rogue cells break away from the primary tumor as soon as it forms and make their insidious way into distant organs. So if you've ever been told by a surgeon, except for extremely non-malignant tumors, surgery never cures cancer. Surgery can buy you time, though. It can buy you time while you work on the completion of healing, while you work on the things that allowed your own cells to develop into cancerous cells. That principle right there can revolutionize and save millions of lives. We're losing well over 500,000 people every single year to cancer, and those numbers continue to climb in total deaths. Because nobody's talking about the cold, hard facts that what we're doing right now does not work. It doesn't heal people. Cutting parts off, cutting things out, cutting tumors out, at best, buys time. Removes pressure on a nerve, removes pressure on a vital organ, or an artery or vein that would ultimately cost the person's life in a traumatic or incident or a emergency situation. But the reality is, it doesn't heal the person. You have to seek out the way in which you need to heal. So this man, again, John, he went in 1984, the cancer spread back to his lungs after he had already had the tumors removed. His oncologist, Joseph F. O'Donnell urged him to undergo immediate treatment. The oncologist, and this is one of the things that's sad, because I'll go through another article where the title of it is chemo, or is patient's hopes too high in chemotherapy. So the oncologist told John that once the melanoma invades internal organs like the lungs, which it had, the invariable outcome is death, usually within months without immediate treatment. But even with immediate treatment, only half of melanoma patients with lung metastasis are alive 30 months later. But instead of following his doctor's orders, instead of going to immediate treatment, instead of freaking out and saying, okay, give me all the chemotherapy and give me the surgery right now, John didn't follow his doctor's recommendations. Instead, he took a month off to strengthen his body for the treatment. So this man had the idea and mindset is, I know chemotherapy is it's like napalm. It's going to ruin the internal systems of my body. It's going to harm me. The surgery alone is harmful. So he took a month off to strengthen his body because he knew the treatments would be a grueling ordeal. He went on long hikes in the mountains. He ate healthy foods. He meditated. He also spent a lot of time picturing himself healthy and visualizing good, strong blood cells destroying his cancer in his body. The power of the mindset is miraculous. The power of prayer is miraculous because it focuses our mind on the good things that can occur. John later flew back to Vermont, where he went to his oncologist, repeated the x-rays to document the size and location of the tumor before starting treatments, but instead of a large cancerous lesion in John's lung, the doctor saw nothing. So what doctors said needs immediate treatment, immediate surgery. In 1 month, it was gone. I had a patient here today, considering the fact that I'm talking and mentioning lung cancer, I had a patient today talk about a friend of his who just had a partial lung removal. A large portion of one of his lungs was removed because they said it was cancerous. They didn't even do a biopsy beforehand. They removed it, and literally, the patient was basically told it was a large loogie. Yeah. My patient's like, they basically told him it was like a bunch of mucus and fluid buildup. It wasn't even a cancerous tumor. And they said, sorry for removing part of your lung. The system is broken. So although researchers say that it is impossible to determine from a single patient what factors contribute to a spontaneous remission, John's case provides a tantalizing clue to the immune system. The immune system may sometimes be at work. During his month of meditation and healthy living, white rings developed around his skin tumors, causing what doctors call a halo sign. These findings are considered evidence that the immune system is attacking melanocytes, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, the pigment cells in the skin that are the source of this cancer. So the man's immune system was fighting his own cancer. If we can see that occur and people are told they die, look at what he did. Think about that. It's never too late. Your body can beat what doctors say can't be done. They've documented time and time again. It happens few because most people don't seek out the internal ability of their own body to heal. Rather, they go forward with the surgery and the chemotherapy and the radiation, which further weakens our immune system. It's well established to destroy our immunity, yet right here, one of the most deadly type of cancers, what is it? It's your immune system that can be even the deadliest form. They talk about signaling imbalances that are recognized by your own internal circuitry, which might actually help fight off cancer and prevent them from spreading wildly, causing cancer. And this internal circuitry, which is your nervous system, can trigger your cells of your body that are cancerous to actually commit suicide. But it can only do that through proper communication, which takes both mind and physical structure and body to do so. Mind-body connection, intricacies of the immune system and the mind are far more than what researchers could understand, I believe. Other patients improved when they experienced changes in their estrogen, their thyroid, their growth hormone levels, all doing natural things. Some patients improved after marked temperature elevations. That's why hyperthermia is actually an alternative and natural treatment for cancers. Hyper meaning you elevate your body's temperature so that it stimulates more natural killer and immune cell responses to fight off. And in fact, there was a famous physician, I forget who it was, but I know the articles that I have on it are in regards to fever and the benefits of a fever and how fever-reducing medications increase a child's risk of dying from any infection whatsoever. And they actually say that give me a fever and I'll cure any disease. Because the immune system is central, but secondary to the central nervous system, but still central to every single illness within your body almost. Physicians believe that the mind plays a powerful role in both the development of cancer and its treatment. Traits some psychologists believe are a characteristic of cancer-prone personality. Although this is a woman's example, she never received any medical or surgical treatment for her deadly cancer invading her lungs. 6 weeks after starting psychotherapy, seeing a therapist, her tumors began to shrink. Within 1 year, they had disappeared without a trace. That was 22 years prior. And this woman was still alive at the time of this writing of this article at 80 years of age when she was told she would have to die from her cancer. And all she did, or the main thing she contributes to her recovery and healing to, was psychotherapy. Folks, again, I'm bringing research. On the 29th of October, 6 p.m., it's an evening talk. It will be online, and it will be in the office as well. But they talk about how the difference between metastatic cancer or deadly type cancers is the person's body, not the cancer itself. The changes that go from benign, the changes that occur when cancer goes from harmless to harmful, are actually dictated and determined by your central nervous system, which runs and regulates every single physiological system in your body. This is why animal studies have actually shown in the 70s they can dampen, deaden, and damage nerves that go to regions of an animal's body and graft cancer cells into the animal's body, and the cancer will grow. But if they didn't damage those nerves, the cancer could be grafted in and it wouldn't grow, it wouldn't hold, it wouldn't take. Damaging the nerves made the animal susceptible to cancerous growth. Huge epiphany should occur right there. Incorporating the correction and improvement of your central nervous system has to be central, as it is your central nervous system, to every single cancer patient's regimen. It's not the only thing. It may be the only thing one person needs, but it's not the only thing everybody needs, and that is the problem with studying natural cancer strategies. Is cancer may help with one certain person's cancer that is driven by inflammation, or maybe the BRCA 1 and 2 gene mutations in which curcumin or turmeric can actually induce a genetic expression and response that allows that gene to work more properly, more efficiently, and also preserves the proteins that help turn on cellular apoptosis, which is a triggering of cancer cell death or natural cell death that is proper. That may be the one thing that those few people need, but it's not the only thing that is necessary for everybody to heal. So when they study one thing and one thing alone, it needs to be a complete healing, a wholeness, not merely, hey, take one supplement and you should be cured. If anybody ever tells you that, walk away. Anxiety and stress can lead to a bad outcome, with positive feelings automatically bringing positive outcomes. Our minds clearly have the effect on our physiology. Stress can reduce the number of natural killer cells that are known to battle cancer. And in fact, one of the things that I love to recommend to all my patients dealing and battling cancer, I treat a patient. That was one of the things I wanted to say from this. The reality is when they were saying that although researchers say it is impossible to determine from a single patient what factors contributing to the spontaneous remission, cases such as this are a tantalizing clue to how the immune system and other things work within the body. If you think about this, that is the problem with our current cancer regimens, our cancer strategies we have right now in America, mainstream medicine, is guess what? One woman, Jan, we'll call her, walks in to her oncologist with breast cancer. And then Jane walks in behind her, two different people, diagnosed with the, quote, same breast cancer, and what are they going to get as far as treatment goes within the standard medical world? They're going to get exactly the same treatment, yet they're different people. Our medical system gives you a cut, poison, or burn, or all three regimen for every single person with any and all types of cancers, basically. It's the basic premise of cancer treatment. We give you a chemotherapy drug that tries to kill the cancer cells, and we'll keep giving you different chemotherapies if the first one doesn't work. We'll cut out the tumor. We'll give you radiation. We'll be more specific with it. And they do that basically to every single, or we'll block your hormones, and everybody gets it. Basically the exact same protocol. They're not treating individuals, they are treating a tumor. A good doctor treats a patient, not a disease. With the advent of new technologies like CT scans, MRIs, or more sophisticated blood and urine tests, apologize, I had the articles It don't matter. You saw the articles behind me. MRI's doctors are discovering many cancers at very early stages. At first, though, doctors and patients welcomed early diagnosis, assuming, you know what you get when you do that early detection would lead to more improved survival. But the assumptions can cause what an NIH cancer expert Dr. Kramer said as medical mischief. According to NIH Dr. Kramer, who says that detecting such as early stage cancers can cause more harm than good if the cancer cells were unlikely to cause harm in the first place or cause problems in a person's lifetime. But medical mischief, what he didn't detail out, is that doctors are diagnosing women and men with cancers that are harmless. They're an indication that your body's not functioning as well as it should be, or it's an indication that your body wasn't functioning well in the past, and the tumor could have formed, been there for ages and years, but all it took was you reaching your 40 years of age and believing your doctor's lies or the misinformation that they've fallen in love with and begin to idolize and believe in. And then they tell you, you need to go get your mammogram. You need to get your prostate checked. And they find, oh, look, we see a tumor here. Oh, it's cancer, but your body already walled it off, already sealed it off. Your body was in a healthy state, keeping it at bay, wasn't going to grow, wasn't going to harm you. But because of these early quote-unquote detections that could detect a tumor that's been there for 30 years, they tell you, we got to go through mastectomy. We got to go through radiation and chemotherapy. We've got to give you Herceptin, which will cause you to die of heart failure at higher rates than the women we actually save from breast cancer. We cure less cancers than the women dying of heart failure with Herceptin. They don't tell you this stuff. Modern medicine has yet to come close to nature's handiwork and inexplicably producing spontaneous remission without apparent side effect. That is the body's capability of beating cancer, folks, right there. Better and stronger than any medical treatment out there. Right there, we got to say, and I want to say, praise Jesus, thank you, God, for what you've designed our body to do. You know what I love with my kids? I wonder if they'll do it. Hey, Bubba, Amos, get over here. Amos, you still here? Come here, dude. I'm going to put you on the spot, man. I hope you answer properly. All right, you too, sissy. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ugh. Come here. Nope, over here. All right. These are the kids. Can you all see them? All right, Bubba. When we get cuts or bruises or scrapes, look at me. Who heals us? God. Who heals us? God. Jesus too. God and Jesus. Because he's given your body the ability to heal stronger than any drug or man-made chemical, better than any surgeon can ever do. You guys know that for sure, right? So I want you to tell people out there, if they're dealing with diseases or illnesses, who can heal them? Who? Come here, Bubba. Say it real loud. Sissy, say it real loud. Folks, man, I love teaching my children this stuff. I teach them, and I give that article, Discover Magazine, The Body Can Beat Terminal Cancer. I give that to every single patient that I ever sit down with that is diagnosed with cancer. Whether it be the person who has basically a harmless cancer, that I need to steer them in the direction of getting out of that fear and that stress-based system, and now that fear-based system, showing them the data and research that's available to anybody. Sometimes that's one of the most difficult patients to steer in the right direction, because when I sit down with them and I show them the Journal of American Medical Association, I show them the NIH reports that the type of cancer their doctor is saying that they need to get cut out or burn out or they need drugs for. I show them it's a cancer that's really not a cancer. But they don't, it's hard for them to believe, because the world says as soon as you hear the word cancer out of your doctor's mouth, that you need to live in fear and do whatever necessary to remove that mass from your body. Yet that is your own body. That is your body. It is your cells that developed from healthy cells that went rogue and started developing into cancer. It was a response of the environment you placed your body and your system within. If people can understand this, they can save their own lives. God can heal them. Giving somebody this gives them hope. We should never take hope from anybody. We should always tell people that there is always a possibility for your body to heal. When the body has done it for other people, when the systems that God designed our bodies to do can do it for others, it can do it for us. We need to harness those capabilities. We need to restore the healing. We need to restore the immune system. One of the best things I can do for a patient is tell them, take a walk in nature. What did John do? One of the major things he did, long hikes in the mountains. How relaxing would that be? In Japan and other countries, they do what's called forest bathing. They have them walk in nature. Cancer patients walk in nature and they see their immune system respond so much that it's comparable to the $15,000, $20,000 injections that try to boost your immune system artificially that our doctors in America sell you. I can show you the research and walk you down a path through the wild and wilderness that restores your immune systems stronger than any medical physician's drug, but yet I can't charge you 15, 20 grand for it. Why do you think they're not telling people this stuff? Why do you think the mainstream media isn't putting more reports out like this of people surviving cancers that doctors said was going to kill them? They don't want people to know the internal capability of their own system and body. If you need help on that path, I'm ready to show it to you. Stay tuned. I'm trying to get on live around 1 o'clock on most days throughout the week. Today, got caught up with another patient. I'm going to read through some questions, maybe some comments. Got Candace here. I'm an RM. I just cannot work in the mainstream anymore. A registered nurse says she can't work in the mainstream anymore. It's a fear-based, faithless, reactionary system. God has created us so amazingly that we cannot even understand how intricately our bodies, minds, and souls work. Jesus still heals. Absolutely. See, medicine wants to steal and take credit for what God has done. They do that all the time. They say, you can't heal. What breaks my heart was when people pray on Sunday for healing, request prayer for healing, and then go to the system for which the Bible says is Pharmakeia, which would be used by the great men of the earth in Revelations to deceive all nations, which is Pharmakeia, pharmaceuticals, the use of drugs. It was man that told you and fooled you and lied to you and deceived you into thinking that a plant like cannabis or a mushroom is a drug. Meanwhile, synthetic chemicals produced in a factory by a man altering what God designed, they convince you that's medicine. Those are by definition pharmaceuticals, Pharmakeia. And I know I'm getting preachy and godly here right now. Everybody's like, come on, I want to hear science, not just preaching God, Bible beating man here. I'm not beating you over the head with the Bible. I'm just saying, I think it's pretty impressive the fact that we are literally seeing revelations in action. We are seeing the end time signs where people are being lied to and deceived, and governments are being used and manipulated to force people to take and bow to idolatry, believing in drugs and pharmaceuticals and vaccines. Thanks, Sissy. Oh, she was going to ask. I know. I knew what she needed. Nikki, I'll just keep loving this. So many things I've known and believed for so long. Amen. God is a great physician. You know, I need to do one just on the biblical and the idolatry of medicine. I know I've needed to do it for a long time. I know that. This has been so informative. As a nurse, I wish medicine was more geared towards preventive medicine, not treatment. Beautiful and healthy. Maybe you're talking about me. Interesting. I've learned something today. Thank you, Yvonne says. I thank you all for learning stuff. I hope you share it. I hope you pass it on to your friends, your family, and your loved ones so that we can save more lives. Hey, Wild Doc, thank you for your work. I am a doctor of acupuncture, and I am considering adding breast thermography. I would be curious to hear your take on this. Ultimately, I've mentioned and I've reviewed that I've considered it as well, but what I fear is the fear. what I'm worried about, and I don't necessarily have that fear, I guess. Fear would probably not be the right words for me. But what I'm concerned about is that the testing would drive people into a state of fear that would trigger metastatic cancer. People have to be walked through. Every patient, if I was going to do thermography, which I've considered, if I was going to do that type of testing, I would want to walk people through a understanding of what can come about from testing. It's like PSA testing. The blood work isn't harmful unless a doctor accidentally got the needle dirty. But it's the fear that drives them to do the things that are harmful, the treatments that kill men faster than cancer would. The fact that doctors don't tell them there is no drug or surgery that can prolong your life with prostate cancer. Folks, we have to use testing in the appropriate ways. We have to inform and educate people so as to understand if one breast looks different than the other on a thermography scan, well, then you need to know that that could be cancer, that could be a bruise, that could be an infection, that could be a difference, that could be simply inflammation at the time, which can lead to cancer down the line. It can be a lot of different things. But the reality is, that test could spark fear into people to go within the medical model. And sadly, the legalities of this situation also are difficult, because if I found something abnormal on a thermography scan, I'd have to tell a patient that she needs or they need to go and get further testing to figure out if it could be cancer. Which then I'd want to inform the person that a biopsy has been shown to initiate where cancer had been walled off by the body, that it punctures the wall that your body beat to keep the cancer confined. It punctures that, and metastatic cancer can start to spread through the needle hole out of that area into other regions of the body and into the circulation. That needs to be spoken about. So we have to inform and educate and enhance this understanding, change the thought process. But again, if 1/4, I think they talked about it in this article here, if I can find it, which I didn't go through this article completely. Otis Webb Brawley, works with the American Cancer Society. He said, one tumor is smarter than 100 brilliant cancer scientists. We've spent $200 billion in cancer cures, or searching for cures, and we have none. The death rate from lung cancer has rose 43 to 53 per 100,000 people, 1975 to 2005. The death rate from melanoma rose 30%. Liver and bile duct cancers even further. The death rate has almost doubled from 2.8 to 5.3 per 100,000. Pancreatic cancer up 10.7 to 10.8, which isn't too bad, but the reality is it's even greater. We're seeing the deadly type cancers increase, but we're detecting people with cancer that would never harm them. We have fewer smokers and all this. By the time the 10 cancer cells, you probably have 8 different cancers. There are different pathways in each cells. This is why cancer patients keep dying, because drugs don't work on all these pathways. But what's amazing about medicinal mushrooms, what's amazing about the treatments, people want to say, I need miraculous healing, but sometimes it's the plant growing in your front yard that you're spraying with weed killer that God gave and provided for you to heal, like dandelion. God provided. It doesn't always mean, poof, he's going to heal you miraculously. To me, healing with mushrooms and dandelions is miraculous, and it's amazing. He provided. He didn't do it for us. He's not going to heal us for ourselves. We need to have faith in what he's provided and what he's done. Walk the path, and we will heal. I forget where I was going with that last thought. What was I searching for in this? Anyways.
I think you were answering.
Oh. So within a matter of months, they see people like that man, a terminal cancer that was supposed to have killed him, from doctors' perspectives, in 1 month he completely reversed by natural living, natural strategies. 1 single month. This is why I've taken patients and I've said, listen, you don't need to have a hysterectomy. You don't need to go through that procedure right now. You have cervical cancer, but guess what? Your body can beat it. walk this path with me for a few short months, and then go back in, get the pap smear, evaluate those cells, and see if the cancer's still there. And at that time, because the reality is, like I said, right here, delaying does not mean you're going to die. Delaying these treatments are in fact an opportunity to see if your body can handle it and do it. You can save the surgery and the drugs if you'd like to go that route for later. But a surgeon removed the malignancy and told this man he was cured, but the surgeon himself says, we take it out, we say you're all set, enjoy the rest of your life, because really what else can we do until it comes back? Because they know cancer would have already spread within your body by the time it's identifiable on any one of their tests, MRI or X-rays or other things. You guys were playing in the fish tank, weren't you? Oh, probably fish oil. I know you want me. Hang on. Let me finish up here. Let me see if there's any questions real quick, Sissy. Hang on.
Read Stephanie's comment. It's not a question, but it's pretty awesome.
Stephanie. I was dying of cancer and had 3 failed radiation treatments over 5 years. When it came back the 3rd time, I knew I had to change what I was doing. As a chiropractor's daughter, I lost my way out of fear. Whoa. That's the thing about testing. Even if the test is, quote, harmless, it doesn't directly harm you, the fear that it can generate can be extremely harmful. It can take a benign tumor and turn it metastatic because it disrupts the physiology of your body. It causes massive stress. And they literally have shown in multiple studies in men and women and in animals that inducing stress upon those individuals or those animals, they can take cancers that were benign and harmless and create them and change them because the body can no longer fight and keep cancer at bay because it's under stress. She goes on. She lost her way out of fear. My father had died before I got cancer, but I knew the truth deep down. I found a holistic doctor to help me heal naturally. 3 years later, I was cancer-free. That was 10 years ago. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Stephanie, that is amazing. That is awesome. That is so awesome. People are so deceived, Candace says, when they say that God created modern medicine through scientists. No, that is Pharmakeia, created by gods, idols, like the idol. I mean, it's so, how can we literally watch Christians every day walk into offices that hold a symbol of metal or an idol on their wall of a serpent wrapped around a staff. It's the opiate wand wielded by the god, the Greek god, the false god, the idol, Asclepius. It's a cult. It was a cult. And it's the opiate wand. We're in the depths of an opioid epidemic. We're getting what we've been praising and hailing and worshiping. We go into a building that has symbols of the pharmaceutical company, which is 2 serpents around a single staff. It's a symbol and weapon used by Greek and Roman gods that protected thieves and liars. That was used to usher souls into the underworld, yet we allow people to write us a prescription for a pharmaceutical, a pharmakeia, the use of drugs, is what the Bible said would be used to deceive all nations in the end of times. Yet Christians take that piece of paper, walk to another building or travel to another building with, again, that symbol, the caduceus, on their walls, on their pill bottles, their drug bottles, and say, I want to exchange this piece of paper because I have more faith in that than all the herbs, all the nutrition, all the laying on of hands, whether it's massage or chiropractic care or therapy. It's so heartbreaking because people are dying because of idolatry. And yes, I hear that all the time. God gave us a mind and science and we use it for good. No, it is not being used for good when it's full of lies. There would be no lies in medicine if it was righteous and good. God gave us in the sunlight plants joy, and prayer. Please elaborate on this sometime. I will. What do you think about colonoscopies? I'll have to talk about that because one of the things is colonoscopies have been shown to cause, So there was just another article here recently, I think in British Medical Journal or one of the BMJ, Lancet, JAMA, one of them, and they literally talk about how the FDA knew for years, warning, don't touch that, sissy. It'll make funny noises for everybody. For years, that colonoscopy medical equipment to go up the rectum, into the intestines, look for colon cancers and things like that, that those procedures were infecting people with HIV and other illnesses. They knew it for years and they didn't warn patients. They knew that no matter how much they worked to try and clean those devices, they were still infecting people. One, in fact, VA hospital was suspected of infecting over 1,000 patients with HIV at one point in time in a very short period of time. I'll tell you right now, I don't need to scope my rear end. I don't need to look up there. Because looking for an end-stage disease when I can test upstream and do a when I can do it, how do you be serious with your little daughter? Like, she's probably like tracing the veins that are sticking out of my neck as I'm getting fired up. This is Magnolia, everybody. But they punctured people's intestines, everything. Colonoscopies are not the way to go. You can do stool samples, you can do blood work, you can do tests on the stool to see if your body is in a state in which cancer can thrive and grow. Why not do that? Because that gives you insight into what you would need to do to change the intestinal environment so that cancer, the body's tissues, wouldn't respond to develop cancer. That is what is necessary. You can have far safer and more effective testing that would give you information on what would need to be done to reverse cancer if it was there and never seen on a scope. And the scope has serious risks. So we'll be going through more of that information in future videos. Stay tuned throughout the month of October. 1 o'clock we'll probably be doing on Tuesdays at 2. Let's just start doing that, Ashley. Tuesdays at 2 and Wednesdays at 1. Trying to do that for sure. I'll try and go live at least briefly most other days. Don't know about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which I spend a lot more time with my family. Obviously, this girl needs a lot of attention. Don't you? I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. Hormone Connection. So Ashley's going to put it, you can put it up on the screen. So it's the 19th. It's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Hormone Connection with Dr. Patrick Flynn flying into town. He'll be here to put on that seminar, which is one of the most amazing seminars that men and women can massively benefit from to get their hormones back on track, to help in getting their body back into a function in a state in which they would never get hormonal driven or fed cancers, not caused cancers by hormones, fed cancers. You feed cancer with hormones, you don't cause cancer with hormones.
In-person only, you said that, right?
What's that?
In-person only.
In-person only in Clarksville, Tennessee. You got to get tickets. Eventbrite, the screen should have the poster and information up on it right now. Love you all. Appreciate you all. Share the truth. Don't just like it, because it's the only way we save lives, isn't it, sissy? Yeah. Give me kisses. Love you. Love you all.